What is up, guys? ZTTV here. So in this video I want to do something that I haven't done yet. I've always made budget decks and explained the deck and how it functions, but I've never actually played with a list to the point where it's at its optimal level. And I liking Abaddon the Despoiler so much, I can confidently say that I reached that level with this specific list. And the reason for it is you can only do so much within a budget, right? And you can also only use so many cards. But if every card in the deck has a function that helps you win or gain you value in a specific way, then, well, this Abaddon list is basically that. I played it one Wednesday night at a local game store, and I think two games in a row I could have won within the first few turns. Not it's not that fast. So I mean, it is fast, but it's on a budget still. So it's not turn 2 or 3, but if left unchecked, I could win very quickly, even without the commander. So I've made a deck list on Abaddon before, but this list right now is that one just a bit tweaked. So Abaddon the Despoiler is a 5-mana Grixis Commander that has trample. He is a 5/5 Astartes warrior, and he reads Mark of Chaos Ascendant. During your turn, spells you cast from your hand with mana value X or less have cascade, where X is the total amount of life your opponents have lost this turn. So this could be any life loss. It could be combat damage, non-combat damage, like life loss, and so on and so on. So the way the deck functions is if you need to, you can play Abaddon the Despoiler. You can equip, where is it, Trailblazer's Boots to him, giving him non-basic land walk. And there is non-basic lands in a lot of decks. So even if it's only just one person on the battlefield, I mean one person in the game, then with Trailblazer's Boots, you can attack him, deal 5 damage with any creature, but preferably Abaddon, because the sweet spot is 5 mana. And then each card in your hand has Cascade. So the way Cascade works is, let's say a person lost 5 life. If you cast, let's say, a creature with 3 mana value, 3 converted mana cost, you cascade and then you reveal the top card of your library until you reveal a card with 2 or less. Like if X is 3, it's 1 less, and everything less than 3. So if I play a 3 mana spell, I can cascade into a 2 mana Direfleet Daredevil. I can cascade into a Painseer. I can cascade into an Opt, a Sky Diamond, a Charcoal Diamond, a Fire Diamond, Prismatic Lens, Soul Ring. You get the idea. So the reason the deck is so good is, even like, let's say you play Abaddon at the earliest turn 4. If you deal, let's say you deal 3 or 5 damage to any opponent, all the cards in your hand have Cascade. And on a budget, that is extremely strong, because you can cascade into mana rocks that ramp you mana very early on. One game I basically cascaded into 2 mana rocks. I think one was a Soul Ring, and then I tapped the Soul Ring that just entered and then played another card, also cascading again. And I think there was, like, it gets nuts. I don't exactly know how else to explain it. The value you get from Abaddon's ability on this level is just really good. And so this list is $22. Because Abaddon is super cheap. Where is it? This is a Vanadil Adventurers, but it's a Laboratory Maniac. Laboratory Maniac used to be $4 or $5, so it was out of the price range, but he basically is back, and he's like now cheaper than ever. And the list that I think I made a video previously and the combo wasn't in the deck, but this one contains Laboratory Maniac and Divining Witch. So Divining Witch is a 2-mana spell shaper where you can pay 1 generic and 1 black to discard a card, and then you name a card, reveal the top 6 cards of your library from the game, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal the named card, then put that card into your hand, remove all other cards revealed this way from the game. So that is basically Demonic Consultation, just on a creature that is a turn slower. It's also 4 mana and you discard a card in total, but on a budget that is really good. And the deck does run like counter magic to protect the it. You actually don't run the boots. You don't run boots that give him hexproof, but I think you can add that to the deck. But usually there's ways to protect it, and yeah. So there's like a lot of counter magic, especially stuff like Dispel and so on. And Memory Lapse is also 2 mana and then Dispel. So there's ways to protect the Divining Witch, but I haven't actually had a problem with it dying before I could use the ability. But yeah, so actually I'm not gonna get into every card that's in the list. I have my favorites like Painseer, which if it gets untapped, you reveal the top card of your library, then you lose life equal to its converted mana cost. But the main combo, the main 2 combos, there's actually like a few that I managed to use because of the Grixis color. Ghost People, Notion Thief, and I think it's still in the list. Never mind. I think I needed to remove it because it got expensive. I think Windfall used to be in the list, but I did remove it. But Notion Thief, I think I played one game where someone drew 2 cards every turn, and then because of Notion Thief and it not being a May ability, I literally just drew a card like at the beginning of every turn for him. But in the list, there's a lot of ways to get. Okay, so the main combo of the list is Dualcaster Mage. He did creep down to $2, I see now, but he used to be like $4 or $5. So I couldn't run Twin Flame and Dualcaster Mage. But I'll check the price on Twin Flame. But even on like a $25 Dualcaster Mage and Mirage Morockery and Quasi Duplicate is really good. So the reason that I think like Quasi Duplicate is in a little way a bit better than Twin Flame. If you cast Quasi Duplicate targeting a creature and you flash in Dualcaster Mage, you can cast Quasi Duplicate again if it was countered or if it's in the graveyard, or you can even tute it to the graveyard and then cast it out of your graveyard. But Quasi Duplicate has Jumpstart, where you discard a card and you may cast it from your graveyard, and that way you can still use it out of the graveyard. But yeah, there's Notion Thief. There's ways to get Notion Thief through Mystical Teachings. There is to get Dualcaster Mage because he's a wizard. There is Vidalcan Aether Mage where you wizard cycle. What else is there that I can show? Drift of Phantasms does get Dualcaster Mage and Quasi Duplicate, something that Twin Flame didn't do. So for 3 mana, you can tutor for Quasi Duplicate or Mirage Morockery, and then you can literally just combo off that tutor. What else can I show? Razakev's Right, Illicit Shipment, both tutoring for like any card that you need. Mystical Teachings also goes for an instant. So you can tutor for removal or counter magic if you want to combo off. Mission Briefing, so you surveil 2 and then you choose an instant or sorcery, then you cast it out of your graveyard. Some new tech that I added from Thunder Junction, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, is Stop Cold. It's a 4 mana enchantment aura that has flash. And then when it enters the battlefield, tap target permanent. And enchanted permanent loses all abilities and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So if someone has a very cool creature or like a very big threat that you can't block or attack into, you just stop cold and it taps it, and then it doesn't untap, and it also loses all abilities. Another thing similar is Sugarcoat. It turns it into a food where you can pay 2 life to sacrifice it and gain 3 life. It's a food token. But yeah, you can enchant creature or food. I don't know why you would enchant a food with this. It is just like, I think it's just for flavor because you sugarcoat the food. But you basically enchant a creature with it, and then that creature like becomes a food token. So you can use that on someone's commander. I think in one game that I played, I was not in a budget-friendly pod, but I used Sugarcoat on someone's Orcish Bowmaster, and it turned it into a food token, and you had to sacrifice it, and then it went to the graveyard. New things that I didn't have before is Case of the Stashed Skeleton. I managed to solve this clue once, and then 2 for a combo. I don't think I have, well, actually I have Rain, Academy Chancellor, which is so interesting. I've never heard about this card before I added it to the list. I think I played with it on Magic Online against someone, and then he used it, and I took the page out of his book. Whenever you or a permanent you control is the target of a spell or ability controlled by one of your opponents, you may draw a card. It's a May ability. You draw a card of targets, and I just think it's really cool. Some changes that I made to the list is, I think, Runaway Together. This wasn't in before. You basically bounce 2 target creatures by different players to their owner's hand. It can be 2 commanders, slowing them down, like maybe 1 turn if they can't cast it out of their hand again. I need to drink some water. Hold on. Then Spellguire. There's a reason I have this. So the problem that you have with Cascade is sometimes you can't cast the counter magic, or like this the spell. Let's say you cascade into a counter spell. If you cascade into a counter spell, most of the time you're not able to cast it. But if you cascade into Spellguire, you counter the spell or use the Veil 2 and then draw 2 cards. So you don't miss the chance to cast the spell that you cascade into. Then we have, I'm not going to get into every card. There are some things that is new. I think Price of Fame was in the deck before. Memory Lapse suddenly became budget. See the Truth is also really interesting. I'll get into some cards that's quite interesting. So See the Truth is 2 mana sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards in your hand and put the rest on the bottom of the library in any order. If the spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards into hand instead. So if you cascade into See the Truth, you basically draw 3 cards just for 2 mana, which I think is nuts. I think there's nothing similar to this besides like a draw 3 and discard 1 thing, for example, for 3 mana. But this is 2, and you cascade into it, you just get everything. Or you can look at the top 3 and take something and put it in your hand. Inevitable Betrayal is very unique. And now I'm going to explain the interaction. So with this, you can pay 2 blue and then 1 generic, and then suspend it for 3. Search target opponent's library for a creature card and put that card onto the battlefield you control. And then you take a card out of someone's library and put it on the battlefield under your control, and then that player shuffles. But the thing that makes the card so unique in this list is if you cascade, let's say you play like Opt, right? or a soul ring for 1 mana, you go in through the entire library, and I did design it this way. You go through the entire library, and you get to cast Inevitable Betrayal just for free. And there was one game that I played at one local game store, not the same one, just another one, while refining the list, where I took someone, I don't exactly know what the card was called, but I took someone's dragon. I think it was like a Mardu colored dragon, where if you don't pay Mardu color, you need to sacrifice the dragon, and then if you do, each other creature dies. So the one person had a Scoot Swarm on the battlefield. Sorry. Someone had a Scoot Swarm on the battlefield, and I literally just tooted for the dragon. I think that was needed for a reset. And then I didn't pay because I couldn't. I didn't have the right colors to do it. And then like every creature on the battlefield died. And it was a much needed board wipe at that point. There's the basic lands is like some dual color lands, like is it Guildgates, Evolving Wilds to mana fix. There's one Backwater. You gain one life. Exotic Orchard I managed to use, and Command Tower, and Grixis Panorama. Yo, getting sleepy. Command Tower, Grixis Panorama, Exotic Orchard. Their Morphing Expanse to color fix, Evolving Wilds. There's not much. There's nothing special going on with the lands, but it's just some color, like some color fixing there. The artifacts are all very low mana cost artifacts. You'll see I run every signet. I run the diamonds because I like the art on them, and I think 2 mana for one, even if it's tapped. Like there's a lot of times where you play Soul Ring and you tap that to play something, and then it's not enough mana to do anything anyway. So very early in the game, if you get Soul Ring, you can just play Fire Diamond or Charcoal Diamond, and then that's like a turn 2, 3 mana, and then turn 2, if you have a land drop that's four lands or like 4 mana sources on the battlefield. And it's the easiest thing to do is literally just Soul Ring 2 mana artifact, and you can also cascade into it. There's some counter spell like Ionize that also deals 2 damage to that spell's controller, but it's not that ideal and not that special, but it does add damage to like life lost and damage to opponents. And also Psychosis Crawler, if each, like let's say you draw a card, then each opponent loses 1 life. So if this is on the battlefield and you, let's say you opt, if it's your, let's say you draw for turn, that's 3 mana, 3 life, and then if you opt, you also deal 1 damage to each opponent, so that's 6, and then 6, like excess 6 on Abaddon, so you can basically cascade off anything 6 mana or lower, which is insane. Stuff like the Despoiler, draw 2 cards, discard a card. With Psychosis Crawler out, that's 6 damage just off the Despoiler, and you can also use it to jumpstart and you gain a little life, but that's not why you use it. But it could help with Pain Seer dealing damage each turn. Some cool things is Thief of Sanity. If you deal combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of the player's library. Yo, sorry for yawning so much. Yo. To me, it's like a budget Ragavan, and it also has flying, so the possibility of dealing damage is high. And I mean, that's it for the list. I'll post a link to the list if anybody wants to look at the list, like the complete list. I know this is just the online list that you watch in a video. So if you want the full list, I'll paste a link to it. Yeah, that is it. So I don't know what I would change to this list. Especially on a $25 budget. maybe I can remake one at $35 because I had a discussion with some friends, and we want to move to $35 instead of 25 because it adds more room to be creative, and I don't think $35 is like out of reach. You'll see I did some videos on $50 because I just wanted to be more creative with a budget list. But I'll make a 35. I'll probably make a $35 list of this, or maybe make another list. There is a partner pair that I want to make a video of. With Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator, and Vial Smasher. I managed to pick up a Vial Smasher after looking for one for so long. And I picked up a Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator. Together they're like a Grixis combo pair. And Malcolm and Glinthorn Buccaneer is a game-winning combo. So I don't think building that deck is unrealistic. But I'll make another video on that if I decide to build that and then play test that to reach like an optimal level. I'm also building, I'm busy, I think it's somewhere, a better Keen to All list that to me is like super casual. There's like, I think like one or two outrageous combos, but the rest is pretty casual friendly. I think there's like a Tree of Redemption where you swap your life points and the tree's toughness. And then Keen to like Betor Keen to All halves everyone's HP at the beginning of your incept. It's quite cool. I'll make a video on that once I'm comfortable with that list. I'm not yet though. When I built the list in paper originally, I didn't have all the cards that I needed, so I didn't have the full list, but I might have enough now to build one that I'm comfortable on doing a video of. I decided to, like take things slower and play test and tune a deck more before making a video. But yeah, I'll end the video here. It's been a few minutes. But thanks so much for watching, guys. If you want to see more videos like this, check out my YouTube channel. I have a few older videos that are like also budget friendly. Some of the lists might be too expensive or outdated, but for the most part they were budget at one point and they're still considered budget. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope to see you guys commenting or giving input on the list in the next, like in the comments and so on. And I will make a list most likely on Vial Smasher. But let me end the video here. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope you have a great week. Stay safe.